Namaskaram. Namaskaram to everyone. Wherever you are, namaskaram to all of you. Well, it's nice to see so many of you after such a long time. Well, the laws in the country, both here and in many states, in this country and everywhere else, are being relaxed. They're being relaxed not because we are in any better situation than we were 4 months or 5 months ago. In fact, we are in a worse situation. But a society, a nation and the world cannot go on locked up forever. So they're relaxing this for economic reasons and social reasons. As the laws of the nation and states relax, your personal protocols, your family protocols must become tighter and tighter. It's very important. The most fundamental responsibility in this time is that you stay alive, ensure everybody around you stays alive. This is the most fundamental thing. Well, different generations are thrown different kinds of challenges. If you ask me, this is a very soft challenge for you. It's a soft ball. It's not a hard ball compared to the world wars that people have seen, compared to the horrors that past generations have witnessed and suffered. This is a soft ball, don't crib too much. It's important that we hit this ball right, very, very important. There's a little feedback, if you can manage that, please. Well, in United States, as you know, relentlessly it's going on, nearly 200,000 deaths. Well, people are thinking that's not too many for 4 months or 5 months. That's because you were not counted among the 200,000. It doesn't look like too many. Maybe nobody, fortunately, someone very close to you, near to you, loved ones have not been counted, so you're thinking it's not too many. Any death, unnecessary death is too many. Well, people have to die, but don't have to die stupid. All of us have to die. But we don't have to die stupid because when I say stupid, well, this is not like a bubonic plague, it's sweeping across and killing everybody. If you behave responsibly, it'll spare you. I've been telling you, you got to be responsible for a long time. Now the virus is telling you, if you behave responsibly, you will be spared. If you behave irresponsibly, you will be taken. Hello? In engineering. Yes, that's all it's saying. So, at times like this, it's important that all our sense works for us, not against us. Compulsive behaviors can cost lives, if not yours, somebody else's, unfortunately. Please ensure that nobody dies because of you. And you don't die because of you. Hello? Make sure of this. Well, over nearly 7 million cases in United States, over 1,000 are dying every day. India rapidly catching up, nearly 5 million cases, daily 100,000 extra cases, there may be 5 to 7 times more undetected across the country. Fortunately for India, the mortality rate or the fatality rate is way lower than any other country. We've been eating right. It's playing its role. Particularly in southern India, the fatality rates are way lower than anywhere else on the planet. I said this well before, 5-6 months ago. Looking at the diet of South Indian people, probably they will survive better than anybody else. It's coming true with all the numbers now. Well, many other countries, Brazil, Russia, everybody racing with each other. The question is not where it's happening. It is just that this is a test of what we are made of, how we will behave, how safe we will make it for ourselves and for everybody else around us. Well, it is Mahalaya Amavasya in the next few days. This is a time of the year where close to the autumnal equinox, this is the time of the year when the earth is most feminine, particularly in the northern hemisphere. The feminine quality of the planet is more enhanced. Literally across northern hemisphere, this is the time when water is a dominant element on the planet, except in California, of course. Water is a dominant element, so naturally it represents the feminine. So in this time of the year, the divine feminine is most active and available to people. So a 10-day festivity starts with this new moon, which is on 16th, 17th of this month. And as you know, 22nd, 23rd is the equinox. And as you know, I'm eternally grateful to the equinox in my life. I did not know it was equinox on that day. It's much later I realized, many years later I realized it was an equinox day. So, feminine being dominant, Mahalaya Amavasya is also seen as a time when our respects, regards and obeisance be paid to our ancestors. What is the significance of ancestors? They're dead, why should we bother about them? Well, the problem is, who you are right now, in today's world, you constantly being on Google, maybe you think you were delivered by the Google lady. The people that we refer to as your ancestors, they may not necessarily be wandering around, hanging on to the trees, but they're living within you. How much of ancestry stays alive within you? On one level, it enriches your life. On another level, it enslaves your life. We are who we are only because of our forefathers. What they learned, what they knew, their skills, their technologies, their sense of life, we have imbibed all of it knowingly or unknowingly, every one of us. At the same time, if you let them live too strong within you, you won't have a life of your own. Because then, do not underestimate the dead, they will try to live through you. This is why so much care was taken, not in any one culture, across cultures everywhere in the world. Certain things were done when people died, so that they don't try to live through you too strongly. Because if they live through you too strongly, your life is wasted. That is, you will not be a fresh life. You will be sort of a carbon copy of an old life. Unfortunately, many of you have this aspiration that you want to live through your children. No, that's the last thing you should do. Your children should live. You must enrich their life. You are like manure. Hello? Yes, if you are good manure, they will flower. If you smear yourself all over their faces, they will smell and stink like manure. Hello? You must be good manure for your children, rich manure, so that they will flower and they'll have a life of their own. It's very, very important. So every culture always took care to distance themselves from the dead in so many different ways. In India, we developed elaborate methodologies, chose times when we can do maximum in this direction, so that year on year, we create more and more distance. Just because you forgot about your dead grandparents or parents or of your forefathers, that does not mean they're gone. They live through you. The very way you sit and stand you may not understand this in the beginning of your life. When you were 18, 20, you thought you're definitely not going to be like your father or your mother, that's the last thing you want to be. You know, I'm talking about the free spirits. But by the time you're 45, you sit like them, you stand like them, you talk like them, you know. Unknowingly, even your body moves like them. This is because they're living through you. So this is a time of the year which is referred to as the Pitru Paksha. That means this is a time to attend to your ancestors. You may know them, you may not know them. Up to 12 generations of people are usually attended to so that they don't try to live through you. You distance yourself genetically from them so that this life operates and organizes itself as a fresh life, as a new possibility, that it doesn't become a repetition of the past. So we are right now at this time on the Mahalaya Amavasya, which is 16th, 17th of this month. In the yoga center, I think anywhere between 20 to 25,000 people will do the necessary processes to distance themselves from their ancestors. They may be dead long time ago. How we handle the dead has substantial relevance to one's life. I've said this before, which now going into research mode in some places, because what you observe with life is no more research. You have to observe the lab rats, whether their ancestral behavior has influence on them. Only if it's true for rats, it's true for you. Rat race, you know. Well, even among them, it's been noticed that one experiment, I think this happened in the Emory University, if I'm right, or I could be off in terms of university, some premier American university for sure. They made this small experiment where a bunch of rats were given nice a cherry blossom smelling cheese. They lapped it up one day, Next day when they came to eat, when they bit into the cheese, they got an electric shock. You know, humans. And again, a few days, they did this, that whenever they bit into this cherry blossom smelling cheese, they got a shock. 7 generations of rats would not go anywhere near cherry blossom smell. They learned their lesson, I'm saying. And these generations did not live together in case they're running a school. They were separated. So wherever they were, for 7 generations, their learning remained. It's only in the 8th generation, it started dissipating. So it is true with rats, it must be true with you. I mean, I'm going by the data. But we know always it's true with you. Both positives and negatives are true with you. Both positives and negatives, if it become very strong influence upon your life, they turn into a negative process. It may be positive, but if it becomes a very strong influence, then it becomes negative because whatever your 7 I'm only going 7, okay? Mahalaya Amavasya we're going to 12, but in case… because you're all covered, I can't make out whether you're Homo sapiens or rodents. Really, we all looking funny these days? So, generations of people that we have lost, probably we do not know them, we don't know their names, we have not even seen their pictures, but they're living through us. So whatever learnings they had 7 or 12 generations ago, if it plays out too strongly, you will become irrelevant to today's life. So you have a fear of cherry blossom, may not mean anything today, but it continues within you. So this complex web of information, which we are today calling as genetic information, karmic information, pranic information, various kinds of things which have built up as a network of information which is functioning in our lives in so many different ways. Some of it has been accessed and researched by scientific modern research. Many, they know it is heading in that direction, but you need funding to come out with results, so it is being postponed. But we know this has influence. Especially societies which don't handle their dead properly, in those societies, the most vulnerable population will be adolescents. From 0 to 8 years of age, children generally have a kind of a protection and an immunity from the ancestors. They be their own thing, but between 8 and 18, the influence of unattended ancestral, for lack of words I'm using, their spirit or their memory plays havoc with adolescents. So a society where adolescents suffer most, it's the best part of your life in many ways, but they suffer most, that society, you must know, has not attended to its dead properly. So this is a time of the year where even if we have not done something in the past, everybody makes an attempt to deal with the ancestral dead so that their influence is limited in our lives. We appreciate who they were, we appreciate their contributions, we have this kind of body, this kind of brain, this kind of learning, this kind of whatever. In all that they have a role, we appreciate that. At the same time, we want them to stand a little away from us so that we can live our own lives. This is important. Otherwise, their influence will be very, very strong. Adolescents and post-pregnancy women are most vulnerable for these forces. It is very important, if there are such people in your homes, you must attend to this, So Mahalaya Amavasya is that day, just 2 or 3 days away, but this is also on this day. We're taking off across United States, looking for a culture which is largely dead, and also the modern America, how it's been built. We're doing exploring, that is what I think… no, that's not what they put up. You know about this? Okay. So, because American people have been singing that it's blowing in the wind, so I decided we'll ride on a two-wheeler so that we don't miss the wind or what it has to say. So probably we're doing anywhere between 6,000 to 8,000 miles on two wheels in the next 3 to 4 weeks, 3 weeks I hope. Once again, looking at an ancient, largely dead culture, archival right now, not really alive. So this is not to bring back the dead, but to appreciate every kind of human being who's made us who we are right now. At the same time, we becoming who we want to be, not becoming like them. This is important. So, these aspects of old memories, genetic memories, karmic memories playing up, because of this, there was a very intricate process in India, there used to be, now which is largely lost. Some people are trying to hang on to it, but it's going to be very difficult and it'll be definitely obliterated in the coming probably 25, 50 years' time, is people had a way of tracking their genealogy. Today I know you have some websites or something doing for you, but people had a way of looking at this so that genetics don't mix in an unhealthy way. As a part of this, who you should marry, who you should cohabit with, who you should not touch, where you should be, where you should not be, all these things, as generations and generations happened, thousands of generations, then this was easy to manage when societies were largely agricultural and we know where they lived, they never moved from their land, so we knew. But in modern societies, everybody is moving, nobody knows where they come from. So the boy or girl that you bump into somewhere on the street, you marry them because you don't know where they come from, and the world has changed, people are mobile like never before. That's why the virus is also spreading. Yes. What happens in one little city in China is all over the world because all of us are flying all over the place. If we were just doing agriculture on our lands, it would have been a local phenomena, it would not have been a pandemic. So, it once happened. Shankaran Pillai went to his astrologer. He was an eligible bachelor at one time. I'm telling the ladies. So he went to his astrologer and asked, what kind of girl should I marry? So the astrologer said, see, though initially it looks troublesome, your marriage will be more successful if you marry someone with opposite traits than what you have. Shankaran Pillai said, that I have decided, that is why I have decided that I will marry a rich girl. Opposite traits.